no veas, a Sevilla. Y el último que cuando ya salió la bien de regla.
It is Wednesday on Raid Shadow Legends, but you knew that. Now, a couple of days ago, as you may or may not saw, I happened to acquire an Aphidus the Hivelord out of every mythical in the game, from Primal Shards, once the game is able to load what he looks like, of course, and we're going to be giving him a go in Hydra. So, they had buffed him pretty recently. Actually, how long ago was it? Like 5 or 6 months? I mean, that's recent in terms of this game. So A1 Blink Cut now places decreased defense in addition to this before it just did that, that's all it did. A2 Umbral Stingers already did that before, already increased the duration of enemy debuffs, but now it has this 25% to 50% defense shred regarding whether they're under HP burn or not, and A3 just did the activate HP burn or placed it, and now it has 25% hand pivot under any debuffs at all. And I believe his passive is improved as well. Yes, 5% more attack, up to 50% based on how many HP burns are activated. So, I mean, Hydra is 1 round. Blessing is Nature's Wrath, so we'll have an extra 8% amp from that. And Relic is Horrific Coronet. I believe this doesn't actually increase the amount of damage amp you get, it just makes it stack up faster. And masteries are Helm Smasher, Master Hexer, pretty much where I'd expect. Yes, he's 3 levels shy. Why? Because I'm too cheap to use some brews. I'm just too cheap. And Blessing, obviously at 3-star, we are missing the crit damage, which is unfortunate, but not too much we can do about it. So if we go over to Hydra, we have one more key for the rotation. Go over to this. What team are we using? I kind of threw something together. So we have Nekmofar, he's in Affinity Breaker, so that he's not going to weak hit either of these. Otherwise, he's just in, I think he's in 4-piece Merciless. Aphidus, as you saw, is in 6-piece Merciless, 2-piece Seal to get some defense shred and extra damage. Marius is in 4-piece Stone Skin, 4-piece Lethal, because I use him for Live Arena pretty often. He's also in Cat's Gaze. Morley is in Bolster, and just like hard mud dwarf faction wars. Lydia is 9-piece Protection, also crit because try and eke out whatever I can out of her. And Yugo, I believe, is an Affinity Breaker and just HP, speed, and then enough accuracy. So we're going to take quick battle off because I want to show you what numbers he's going to do. In terms of AI presets, start with this because first Lydia's going to use the A2 first, I'd rather not double stack the increased speed if I can. Aphidus has his alt form turned off because this form is not intended for Hydra content. Like, sure, it plays as CCs, but this is more of like hard faction wars or PvP, but this is not worth 7 bucks straight up. Marius, as you'd expect, Morley, Lydia, Yugo. Okay, so let's just get started, shall we? And yes, no face cam because otherwise it's going to obscure something. Like previously, I would have Venus here on as my defense down on the weekend, but I used her for hardly sleep because I was testing Carnage out, which could have been better. So already Marius is doing a pretty sizable amount. After this 200,000, let's have that increased attack, and if that has anything stacked up yet, so we'll see next time that he moves. I'll just turn it on 1x, just briefly. Head of Blight fails that miserably. Umbral Stingers does 300,000 to 400,000 per, so not really too much near what Marius does, but I mean, Marius is Marius. Head of Wrath tries to one-shot us off a bat. He doesn't do it because we don't have quick battle on. I'm not sure if it's a bug with quick battle or if I'm just unlucky, but sometimes I would just like die really early on. Okay, so that's 440,000 from Aphidus' A1, which is, and that's not an ID cap, so against a D cap that's going to do a triple amount more. Actually, do we not have Hex? I thought we don't have Hex. No, we don't, do we? Oh, yeah, because it's, yeah, because my Venus has Hex and Lydia doesn't. See that? Pretty good damage from the A3. Again, Mariah is doing more, but where it's 10% max HP at a time, becoming 20% against decaps, then he's pretty hard to keep up with. Now, Head of Torment is a bit of an issue here because we have two champions who are always doing AoEs. Aphidus is like kind of fine because he veils himself, but the others will struggle a bit. It's 800,000 of a decap, actually 900,000. Less than the others because, you know, Serpent's Will was something that they changed for... we don't know why. Like, sure, it's supposed to be so Trunda couldn't one-shot everything, but Trunda is still... Okay, over 1 million damage on the decapped Head of Blight there, so he's doing pretty good. Of course, the fact he's true feared now until Head of Torment goes away is going to be an issue, so that's just going to be coin flips, but Mariah passes that. Okay, after this fails is whatever it was. So I might have to go back and change Necromorphar over to Cursed of this, but Hex damage is only going to matter towards the final score and not towards the individual amount that Aphidus' skill is going to be using, so we have that going for us. That Reflect is probably going to end up killing someone, but that someone is Aphidus, as expected. Because Reflect damage is the one thing that they insist in putting in RPGs for some reason, when really the only counter to Reflect damage is just don't attack. Like, I've played other things like this in the past that have it, and it's just this mechanic that really should have stayed in the weird NES RPG era when none of them really took off, but not too much I can do about it apart from... there you go, falls down again from it. I mean, sure, we have block buffs, but Head of Suffering's going to have that for a long time now because we can't actually take it off, minus Mariah Sato, who is end up going to kill himself off a Reflect, so yep. I mean, he is like doing pretty good so far. I'll stop this in a couple more minutes and just like see how much Mariah is doing compared to Aphidus. I think Mariah is going to be doing more, but I could be wrong. And then I will go back and change him Necromorphar to have not Affinity Breaker on him, Cursed set, so I've got a Hex, because like Affinity Breaker only works half the time in a way, and if I'm not against blues, then yeah. Because you see right here, there's only one blue one here, and not putting Decreased Speed and Suffering does not change a whole lot. Oh, I mean, I think Blight also, yeah, Blight's also blue, and what's Mischief? Oh, that's Mischief, Decay, Suffering, Blight, Wrath. I think Torment was blue. But yeah, if there's no Torment, we can just kind of like, oh hey, 2.8 million damage from the decap, so he is hitting pretty decent numbers. The issue is that, well, you know, decaps are just that, and they fall apart really easily, and then they have 100% DR until they take a turn, so yeah. It might not be tomorrow, it might not be the day afterwards, but I do have a bit of talking to do regarding the state of some PvE content in this game, and how the Hydra Apocalypse not only shattered Plarium's confidence in terms of making successful rebalances, Torment's green, but also the player's confidence in Plarium ever actually fixing anything, because at the end of the day, all the Hydra changes did was nerf everyone's teams. Yep, everyone's sitting under Serpent's Will, apart from the decap Head of Blight, so there's that, and I mean, everyone's also feared, so we're going to be filling quite a few fear checks until we're allowed to interact with Torment at all. who's passed one out now on the Perfect Veil, so he has that going for him. Although the thing is, Toshiro also does Perfect Veil on the A1, so he's not better than Toshiro. But I used him at Brutal this week already because he works with Lady Mikage, Aphidus doesn't. This is why I'm going to say, it's like, please buff Aphidus again. Like, he could use that. I know, like, he's still just PvE mythical, but we've got many of them, and he could do it doing some more. I don't really know how to fix alt form without it just being homogenized in terms of takes our buffs off everyone, can't be resisted, places debuffs, can't be resisted. You know, just... I mean, that's just the state of game nowadays, where if you don't have a way to be completely uninteractive, then you are just not as good, because our best stuff is completely uninteractive. Like, that's the name of the game. Okay, Marias, once again, just taking out all 3 heads by himself, and now we're at 100 million damage. I'm going to stop here, and let's see how much that was. Okay, so Aphidus is mostly keeping up, I would say. Yeah, okay, so I'll take this off, and what I'll do is I'll just run this in my own time until I get a score that I think is pretty good, because I've only got one quick battle because I got unlucky regarding Brutal unceremoniously one-shotting myself over and over. You know, Blue Wrath into Teox, Toshiro, etc. is not brilliant, and then I'll post it at the end. So, yeah, until then, see ya.